All right. Good seeing you, Producer Harry. We are done with the Dolphins. I can't believe Breach wants them to go 12-5 and then lose 65-0 in their first playoff game, but that's how Breach is. All right.
And the joke's on Brinson because they did have a bye in week 18, which was wild card week.
Oh,
Boom.
Got you on the technicality.
They did have to capture the seed and get a bye. Yes, that's true.
All right, so one of the teams that I've been talking up a lot and just mentioned C.J. Stroud as a potential MVP candidate, Houston Texans, and Breach, huge win today. Hit a rough patch because Tank Dell unfortunately fractured his fibula, which is not two words you want to use together in a sentence when describing your body. He is done for the season, unfortunately, because he has been so integral to their success, in part because despite the fact of him being barely 5'8", he is somehow always open. He's sort of elevated that offense around Nico Collins, around Dalton Schultz, even Robert Woods, John Mechie, so on and so forth. How does this team move forward offensively? Is it something they can manage with the loss of Tank Dell, with the understanding that Dalton Schultz didn't play on Sunday either because of injury? He'll be coming back, and he and CJ have a pretty good relationship. But how do you pick up that slack when Tank Dell was in the running, going to be in the conversation at least for, offensive rookie of the year?
Well, I guess you pick up the slack by doing what the Texans did today, which was throw the ball to Nico Collins a lot and have him finish with 191 yards, because that was an absolutely insane game. Because we've seen how much CJ Stroud loves Dalton Schultz, loves throwing to his tight end. He had 455 yards on the season. We've seen how much he loves Tank Dell. Tank Dell's over 700 yards on the season. You don't have those two guys. And he's like, all right, well, I'll just go to Nico Collins. It did look like the Texans offense took maybe a small step back, but that's going to happen when you lose a key player like that to injury. I do think with the way CJ Stroud's been playing, that he's probably going to be able to adjust to this at some point. Maybe it takes a week or two because it's not easy. You have great chemistry with this guy. You lost him. You got to find that with somebody else. But I do think they'll be okay. I still think they can get to the playoffs. I still think, this team has a very high upside, but it hurts. I mean, that's the bottom line. This hurts. But if this defense keeps playing the way they're playing, maybe that's the part that makes up for that, because the Texans want to score 30 points to win games.
Can we talk about the play of where Tank Dell got injured? Because,
yes.
You got rolled up on. What do you mean?
I mean, it was a 2nd and 3 from a second and goal on the 3. And they ran the ball with Dameon Pierce, and Tank was like, and Tank is not a big dude. Tank is like my size if I quit drinking beer for a month. And is he like what is he? What, like 5'9", 5'8", 165?
Yep, that's about right.
He's me after a dry January, basically. And he was blocking like downhill in the middle of the formation, and he really shouldn't have been there.
Well, sometimes the wide receivers have to block in line, and that's what happened. Robert Woods was right next to him.
I'm with you, but you got Robert Woods, who's one of the best blocking wide receivers in the league. I don't know. Don't put Tank Dell there.
Okay. I mean, that's sort of
they questioned on the broadcast.
I don't. Brinson's point of don't put the 165-pound guy in the middle of the line, asking him in a goal line situation. This isn't like at the 50. This is at the goal line where the other team has their beefy goal line guys in, and your 165-pound guy is going to get mowed over.
Wasn't this was Iron Eagle in this game, or is this the?
Yeah, I think it was CD and Iron.
Yeah. I mean, Iron Eagle was calling it quick. Like he was. And look, dude, I'm not. D'Amico Ryans is an awesome coach. Bobby Slowick is doing fantastic work with this offense. I thought CJ Stroud had, and I read about this too, in the context of the AFC South. CJ Stroud didn't have his best game. Man, this dude is awesome. He had just some touch passes like to his left where you're blown away. And you see this game had a 40% swing in playoff percentage points, according to our Sportsline projection model coming in. Texans win 70+%. They're into the playoffs. Texans lose 30+%. Texans defense, Derek Stingley's coming on like gangbusters. He's playing awesome football right now. Has a bunch of picks lately. The Sauce Gardner's incredible, but Derek Stingley was a top 5 pick for a reason. Will Anderson, 2 sacks in this game. He's playing awesome. If you're a Texans fan, you should be hyped about this defense because D'Amico Ryans is a great coach. They got great young talent, and he's getting the most out of them at a time when they really needed it because the offense played well, but the defense is what won this game to me. They intercepted Russell Wilson on 3 of his last 4 drives, and Russ talked about it at the end of the game and said, Yeah, the first one was tipped. It's just one of those things that happens in the NFL. And he said the last two were just great plays by their defense. The Texans, and we'll get to this when we do playoff picture in a second, but remember a couple weeks ago when I said that the AFC South would get 3 teams in the playoffs?
I don't. Do you remember that, Breach?
I think I remember it because I thought 2, and I thought he was a little crazy for 3, but here we are. Crazy Brinson predictions. Brinson is the god of the AFC South. Last year, boldly predicted that Jacksonville would win it. We laughed at him. This year, he said when it didn't seem possible that 3 AFC South teams would get in, here we are, and it's starting to take shape.
Well, Brinson got the answer right about how does C.J. Stroud and the Texans get past Tank Dell, the defense. The other part of that equation is that that plus 16 turnovers, plus 13 turnover differential, that isn't going to last forever for Denver. And we saw that when Russ started throwing picks. The first tipped interception that Brinson talked about, that was Will Anderson as well, to go along with the sacks.